I'm going to talk to you about stepping out of your comfort zone and finding a way to help someone else that might be in need. By doing this, you're actually taking the focus off of yourself and you're able to help someone else that would be in need. I'm also going to talk to you about a couple times where people have stepped out of their comfort zone to help me, and there are times where I've stepped out of my comfort zone to help someone else. Sometimes it's just a matter of walking across the room and just getting to know someone, maybe a complete stranger, asking their name, and eventually you're talking to them and you might find out that they have a need going on in their life that you might be able to help them with. There was a time when I lived in Las Vegas with my family, and we had only lived there a short time. My husband and I were in between jobs, and we didn't have a lot of money at the time. And I remember one night I was trying to get something together for dinner. We didn't have a lot, but there was a knock at the door, and there was a couple from my church that had come over with bags of groceries for us. And they also brought over a check, which was just a huge blessing for me. It was so unexpected. And another time is when I had surgery, and I was unable to cook for my family. And there were a number of people, again, from the same church. They would come over and take my kids. They would bring us meals. And eventually we had such an abundance of food and our meals that I had to eventually call someone and say, please stop sending food, because we possibly couldn't, there's no way we could have eaten it all. And for myself, I know when I have stepped out of my comfort zone, I remember one day I had pulled into a gas station and I noticed there was a homeless lady sitting on the ground. Her head was kind of down, and I had a bag lunch that day, and I just happened to walk over, give her the bag lunch, and as I was pulling away I noticed that she had opened the bag lunch and she was eating it. So it could be just a very small act of something that you would do for someone. It might be maybe they need a pair of shoes or a coat or food. I typically don't like to give homeless people money. I'm kind of cautious of that because I don't know what they'll use it for, but I will get them something to eat or drink, or if they needed a coat or shoes, something like that I would do. There was also another time where I was eating lunch one day. I happened to go out and grab a bite to eat, and I happened to look across the room, and I noticed there was a lady and a young boy sitting there. The boy was about my son's age at the time. He was probably about 8. And as I was finishing my meal, I happened to walk over there, and I happened to ask the lady her name. And as we got to talking, I found out that they hadn't eaten. And her significant other was out by the truck. I don't know if it was her husband or her boyfriend, but I bought the 3 of them something to eat, and I also helped put gas in their car that day. And this was just a very simple thing that I was able to do, but it meant so much to this particular family at that time. And I have a couple photos here. This particular one, it's more of a cartoon photo, and it looks like it might be 2 men, but it's just talking. And again, that would be going back to just if you happen to be at a gathering and just get to know someone and talk to them and see what their need might be. Down here is a picture of a lady. It looks like she's at a food pantry or a food bank, and she's getting food together. So one thing that you could do even is help out in your local community or your church and help out maybe at a food bank. Maybe bring your kids. I know my kids and I have fed the homeless a number of times. Here's a photo up here. I'm not exactly sure where this was taken, but it's literally thousands and thousands of people. It looks like they're without homes. And especially with all the tragedies that have hit our nation in the past years, this is something that you can do. If you're a nurse or doctor, you might want to take a trip somewhere, help out with people that might be sick. If you can possibly build a home or tents or something, or bring food, there's always something that we can do. Maybe bring fresh water. I took this picture on the bottom here of this young man, and that is just, to me, that just kind of represented, he looked like he was kind of in deep thought. So what I was thinking was, take that time and just stop and talk to someone. The one down here was a family, and this just kind of reminded me of my family, how we've always stayed close together in the good times and the bad, And what that has definitely made us stronger. And I would consider even the hard times, it wasn't that they were bad times, they were just hard times, but it definitely made us stronger. This particular photo at the top is of a homeless person. I don't know if it's a man or woman, but it's somebody definitely just in the need of shoes. You think about, look in our closets, we have 15 to 20 pairs of shoes, 5 pairs of shoes, 10 pairs of shoes, however that many may be. Just to give someone a pair of shoes, even if they're used, or buy them a pair of shoes or socks for warmth. In this particular photo down here is it looks like a young mother with a baby. The baby's drinking a bottle, but she's definitely, it looks like she's in anguish and she's hurting, and whatever that need might be. Especially in today's economy with everything that's been going on with our nation, there's so much that we can do to help each other. So I'm just encouraging each and every one of you to step out of your comfort zone and walk across the room and get to know that person that you don't know. Thank you so much for listening to my speech today. If you don't